DeFi Kingdoms, where you can summon heroes, trade with other players, quest, and fight challenging enemies in a fantasy world brought to life in pixel art animation. Command your legion, claim your legacy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's AMA with DeFi Kingdoms. We've got some pretty exciting updates that we're going to be sharing, and then we will be diving into questions from the community to see what we can answer and what we cannot, which is always a fun game to play. Kicking things off today, I just wanted to note we do not have our entire usual crew today. Beetle Dude's got some stuff going on he had to take care of, as does Workhorse. And then we will probably not see Hubert for the next couple of AMAs. So he will be back in a few weeks. And for those of you that are submitting questions, if they can be answered by Workhorse, they'll be answered when he joins. And otherwise, we will hold them for when Hubert is back and just do a massive Hubert AMA. So if you have submitted questions that are specific to him, and we do not answer them, it is not because we are ignoring them. We will be circling back to them once we have him back here with us. But let's start off with some updates. We did make a new addition to our stream. KP, you want to talk about donate a little bit?
Sure thing, Bolon. The guys at donate3.live have done a really great job of implementing all of the ERC20 tokens, or at least a majority of them, into their platform.
Oh, I can't hear anything.
Streamers to get the things donated to them live while they're online. And we created a DFK account where people can go and sign up, and also to get a little bit of an airdrop of jewels. So if you guys want to take advantage of that, I pinned the link up in the corner of the chat so you can see that. Also, too, anything that you feel that you want to send in, we'll be just re-gifting that and sending it out to the streamers that are out there in the community. I love the actual platform because it allows people that don't have 500 plus subscribers or whatever YouTube requires you in order to get a portion of their ad revenues. It allows you to donate to your favorite streamer. So we have so many great content creators that are in our community that are making really amazing content that I think it's a great tool to use, and to be able to thank those people that are, out there giving their hard time and effort into making your lives a little bit more fun and enjoyable. And I've got, tons of people that I watch every week, love to send them little donations here and there, if that's jewel, crystal, even bloaters inside the game, which is cool. But yeah, it's a really cool tool. It's in the castle. If you guys haven't seen it before, I'm sure that you may have seen some things pop up on some of the streamers out there where, people are sending them bloaters or gold or whatever. And I know that a lot of you use it, but if you don't and you'd like to, click on that link and you can sign up and you can get going with it. If you're a content creator, or if you're not, and you just want to thank the people that are, do that as well. But it's a really cool tool, and go check it out, guys. Back to you, Bolon.
Thank you. And you probably mentioned this while I was trying to troubleshoot with Dreamer, but if for anything that rolls through ours, we will just be giving that back away. So you're just donating it to be donated if you choose to, but it's a super awesome tool, and highly recommend checking it out. Two Noobs is awesome, and it's a great way to support your streamers. All right, let's see. So we've had a couple of announcements over the last few days, I think. Yeah, it's still only been a few days. One of the big ones was that DFK Chain hit a pretty major milestone, which is that it has now been live for 2 years. So we just had our 2-year DFK Chain anniversary. 643 million transactions in that time. If I keep quoting stats, I'm going to mess some of them up, so I apologize if I do, but I want to say it was like 291 million quests completed on it. Obviously all of the hunts, which including retries and everything, is over 325,000 hunts. I want to say we're over 4 million duels. Fox, I don't know if you remember off the top of your head, but between all of the various seasons, Seen a lot of duels fought as well. And there was a really great Twitter thread posted by Avalanche from the main Avalanche Twitter account that was really highlighting, that 2 years we were the first subnet to go live. We've been the largest subnet since day one and maintained that title. So it was a really great tweet. And if you've not seen it or engaged with it, I would highly encourage you to go at least check it out. But if you drop a like on it, that's always appreciated too. But it was really awesome to, see DFK and DFK Chain be, posted and highlighted from that main Avalanche Twitter account. It's really just exciting to see. Sunbear, Fox, KP, anything y'all want to add on that front?
Yeah, you caught me when I was trying to go retweet. Yeah, no, it's an exciting milestone. We're excited to be the first project to launch with the subnet. It was obviously, I think we sort of pioneered a lot of the things that a lot of other subnets currently enjoy, and it's been a pleasure to work with the Avalanche team. They're really great and really good at what they do, and it's amazing technology that they bring to the table. And we are the perfect way to showcase that. Like we have this huge, successful subnet with just like so many transactions, so much gas used. I think we still on an average day use more gas than any other level 1 blockchain out there that I can think of, including like Ethereum and C Chain and like Polygon and others. So I mean, it's just huge, and it's really great to have the community that is there every day playing and enjoying this project. And so that's really what it's all about. So awesome stats. It's always really nice to see those. It's really sort of like a indicator that, like we are doing something right. And I think a lot of people here share that same outlook and the same vision there too. So thank you.
Yeah, it's been a pretty stable 2 years in terms of, the chain itself goes. Like everything has hiccups, but I think it's really showcased just how strong that subnet technology is to be able to handle everything that we've thrown at it. I think we hit 4 million transactions in a day one time, and being able to sustain that and stay running, stay healthy, is just a really awesome testament to the tech that is behind the scenes, and that we really kind of helped out in those early days as we figured out launching that first one. So super cool. I wish Magnus was here to share in this as well, just because he does so much of our chain management currently. But we'll give him credit internally later. Maybe we'll see.
I just wanted to throw in there too, Bolon, that when Sunbear and I were at GDC, so many people were coming up to us and asking about the subnet. And, the statistic that you got from the Avalanche team that they have 112 subnets that are currently out there and operating was, more than I thought. But we had so many game developers that came up and said, yeah, we want to develop our own game. But really the only way to go is if we have an Avalanche subnet. Just the technology right now is not allowing us to do what we want to do unless we own and we control our own chain. So I think that, having that ability is something that most game developers are looking at right now. And I think it's only going to get bigger and better over time. And it just allows us to partner with other gaming projects as well, and hopefully, collaborate, make more sponsors and do other things. And I know Shrapnel is another one that's out there, and they're real excited too about doing partnerships and that type of thing. So the Avalanche subnet group continues to get bigger and stronger, and it just allows us to do so many additional really cool things for the community and for larger gaming community as whole too. So it's a exciting time for subnets, and the Avalanche team is out there, and that was a great Twitter post that they put out yesterday. And if you guys haven't read it, go check it out. It was super cool.
Yeah, I was just going to add too, I think that's probably one of the best partnership decisions we've ever made, was creating the subnet, expanding when we did, and then being able to move everyone to that safe realm, to get it up to parity, to build it out with Avalanche, to be the first one to be in that technology, And like KP said, like I think it's just the beginning because of what's happening there with them becoming a major gaming chain, and just an overall great partner. So super excited about us hitting 1 billion transactions one day, and breaking some major records as we move forward, since we already have and we'll continue to.
One thing you can count on is we'll keep pushing those limits. Awesome. So one other announcement that we had come out a few days ago, over the weekend, or I think something like that. Time doesn't exist. Was a new partnership in the Metis ecosystem with Hercules. So I'm sure at least the majority of you have seen something about this, as there have been, numerous tweets and Discord announcements and whatnot. But super excited for that partnership, and I was going to see Sunbear Dreamer. Do y'all want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, I can kick off a bit and then hand it over to Sunbear. So for those of you that are less familiar with a couple of these things, if you want to learn about Hercules, they have an awesome group there and a good team, but they actually are kind of a fork from a protocol on Arbitrum called Camelot. And learning about Camelot's overall history and success after launch may inform us of how things may go, or at least have the potential to go on Metis. Some things to note, we got a sizable grant from Metis to build out Coliseum, and we're stoked on that. It was the largest we've ever done. They've really been stepping up and showing that they want us there, even to the point of working with us to brainstorm a completely new offering and something new to players, something that's a bit untested for them, and they're taking a big risk, right? And we really see them showing up for DeFi Kingdoms. Part of that was, hey, we're also interested in a few other key protocols on Metis. One of them is Hercules. Could you please be open to working with them? So from the beginning, this has been in focus for us to be good partners and explore partnerships there. But what we found is a protocol that we feel has a lot of unique features from a DeFi perspective. We're not looking to launch like a full realm on Metis at this time. So we really needed a strong home for Jewel. Jewel is in current plans and designs meant to be pretty important for those playing PvP features over there. So we thought we better get started, and we better not miss this opportunity. So I think that's kind of the genesis of the decision to make some pretty big moves to partner with these guys. They have a lot of others that they're trying to work with, and I think it was a bit of a crunch in terms of timeline, but we're happy to be involved, happy to be working with them, and there's an AMA with them later. But if you're interested in kind of the whole overall offering, you can look at Hercules, see what you can learn. You can look at Camelot, a lot of similarities there. There are like Uniswap V2, V3 offerings integrated in Hercules, and yeah, I'll pause there. Sunbear, anything to add on the overall experience working with them and what we have to look forward to?
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple things. When we started working with Metis, it became clear as we got to know each other and like Dreamer said, got creative about how to work together, that they had a pretty specific vision of what they wanted to build out with their chain, which as we learned more about each other, clearly involves us as one of those main centerpieces of the chain they're building. And as you've heard before, doing things to make their L2 much more reasonable with like transaction prices, bringing in eigenlayer, like multiple partners to really build out an experience that they wanted to create there, and make it so that we could create it there. And part of that vision was to, and it's been in the works, like Dreamer said, for a long time, even over a year since Hercules received a grant from Metis, was to have a major protocol there that did things a little bit differently. A DeFi protocol, DEXs that could support projects directly and trading for their tokens, but really support projects in kind of a unique way so that they weren't relying on themselves to provide all of the emissions and the incentives for people to bring their TVL in. And so that's kind of one of their main points. Like, let's get projects into Hercules. Let's get the emissions and rewards high up there to really boost them and help them be a part of this kind of booming ecosystem. And the other piece is timing. Like, this timing couldn't have been better for us because, like Dreamer said, you're gonna need Joule on Metis, and we want to expand the utility and the availability of Joule. And for Hercules to be launching like this last week and be doing their Genesis pools, which is where they're going to have a lot of their initial rewards for those early, folks jumping in. For us to be a part of that and to be one of those main projects that gets to be a part of that, it's really going to help us in lots of ways. It's going to help us with our treasury. It's going to help us with, like I said, getting Joule on a new home for Joule on the meta space. So lots of good things there. And like Dreamer said, we asked them, okay, so we're doing this deal. We want to be a big part of your community and your ecosystem. Who are the partners we need to really connect with early on? And they were the first one they mentioned, along with others that you'll see coming soon. So really excited about what they're doing. Love what Camelot has done and the vision of that. And like Dreamer said, at 4 o'clock Eastern time today, we'll be doing an AMA with them, so you can really get to know who they are, what it's about, what this pool is going to be able to do for our community and for the game. So very excited.
Yeah, and it's also well timed. The DeFi Kingdoms Gardens incentivizing initially Joule and then Crystal and Jade. The rewards for staking in the gardens now is mainly around coming from the Quest Fund and kind of the gamification through gardening. Whereas at one point there were emissions there, and it was kind of fun back in the day to have, people coming into the game that that were looking to quote unquote like farm Joule. Now last year was year of the game, and this year we're expanding on that, especially with competitive gaming in focus. But all of us Joule holders, it's pretty cool to have a new source of yield. That yield's got to come from somewhere. If it's coming from us, you're essentially causing inflation, all else equal. If it's coming from a third party, Hercules, that's willing to pay for staking of Joule, for those that moved away from our gardens, it kind of left all else equal more rewards for those that are staying. For those that maybe had some Joule staked in the jeweler and are looking to move that over, again, all else equal, it makes the overall rewards for those that stayed higher, for those that are, on Metis and taking advantage of those rewards. And it looks like there might be some opportunities to get some Metis too from their grant. It's a new source of yield for those, and they're getting exposure to Metis and kind of conditioning using the chain there to prep us for Coliseum. So really multiple wins here. And we'll see how things go as they continue to roll out their other stages and their other pools. In the event that we get a little bit more traction there, it'll just be good overall awareness and potentially perk some ears up for people that have held Joule in the past. So excited all around. And if you're interested to learn more, definitely hop in that AMA with the Hercules team later today.
Yep, and just as a note, that AMA will be on our Twitter, so make sure you tune in there because that's where we'll be. I did want to very slightly go out of order and grab a question just because it is a Hercules specific one. And I think we've kind of already answered it, but just if it raises anything else that we wanted to add, of describing what factors about the product or team behind Hercules gave us the confidence to, put our own funding into it.
Yeah, I can jump in here. It's really great when you can see a product proven in another ecosystem. So seeing how Camelot worked and what their whole history was, and knowing that Camelot is an ongoing advisor for Hercules, and Hercules is a hard fork of Camelot. And also, Camelot's able to really kind of help them know like what they learned along the way. They are an advisor, but Hercules is utilizing that relationship quite well. And then also to see that Metis has been working closely with Hercules for over a year. we've had several conversations with the head of business development at Metis, Matt, who knows the team inside and out, knows their deals. He actually spent a lot of time explaining to us how they work and what that vision really included with that team. So that really helped us feel better about it as well. And then just, of course, as we get to know teams, get them on, get on screen with them and get to know the people who are actually doing this process. They have been extremely responsive, present. I mean, it's a lot to launch a new protocol like this on a new chain and everything that comes with that. But they walked us through our process and were very available to us and really knowledgeable guys. So it's just when we meet with all of these different teams, there's just a high caliber that we expect from our partners that we really ape in with and move forward with. And these guys definitely hit all those check boxes for us.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Continuing on. Let's see. Frisky Fox, I got to do it to you. Any update on duels?
Yeah, Winston's been hitting it hard on the testing front. Found a number of things that need to be corrected. So I mean, it's amazing having him there. I've got a list of a few things there that I'm working on right now, and it's just basically getting closer each time.
Thank you, good sir. And yes, always shout out to Winston, who is an absolute beast for our testing and likes to find all of the bugs. Greatly appreciate it. All right, last update, and then we will go into some more questions. And I am going to be hiding us here in just a moment because I'm going to show something else on the screen. So just a heads up before it comes. But there's been a lot of questions around when and roadmap and priorities, what's being worked on, et cetera, et cetera. So what we are going to do is unveil a new thing that we have made and are going to be putting out. This will, of course, be tweeted and sent in Discord after the AMA, so don't feel like you have to screenshot it. But we wanted to start putting out a priority list to the community so that it can help show what is being worked on, what is progressing in the background. So we have our and I have closer versions of this that I'll get to in just a moment, but we have our full roadmap in the docs. Shout out to Dr. Zipper for doing a great job of keeping that maintained. And it shows everything that we will be doing, which is quite a long list of things that we have planned. But what this will do is be a snapshot of, at this time, what are our biggest priorities and what are our secondary priorities. So our top priorities: additional combat classes in combat, or additional classes in combat, I should say, expeditions, and working on PvP. So these are the things that are, the highest focus for us, getting the most attention from us. The secondary priorities are things that are still progressing in the background. The design phase is either in progress or near completion or complete. And they are the kind of secondary things that we are also progressing in the background in addition to those main ones. So we've got the basic equipment shop, durability, hero traits, pet combat bonuses, the additional hunts reward system, the new hero burn mechanic, and of course, PvP tournaments. So these are all things I think that we've talked about. I don't think any of these will be necessarily new information for all of you. But the goal is to try to help explain what we are actively working on at any given time. So this will be, like I said, tweeted and sent out on Discord shortly after the AMA. But we wanted to go ahead and kind of show it to everybody, as well as explain what our intention with it is. So that is the new priority list that we will be putting out, and then updating and putting out new versions. Actually, real quick, one thing I forgot to show, so I'll bring it back up. But up in the top left corner, it will have a date so that you can tell when this one is from. So each new one you'll be able to track the progress on. Anything I missed there? Anything anybody wants to add to that?
Yeah, I think this is meant to be an improvement on overall communication, but people should probably also learn to interpret this a few ways. If somebody's asking when X feature, and that feature is and has been on like the secondary items list, even though it's progressing, as Bawan mentioned, that bucket includes design phase. It may include part of the build, but not like every part of it. It likely would not be including testing. So if something got to the point that where it's fully built out and being tested, it would probably be in like the primary priorities slot or section. Now, there is a chance that in between times that we release this, maybe something on the secondary side gets to that point and goes live. But I'd say for the most part, paying attention to that priority bucket is going to be the closest thing to know what's coming next. Like I said, there's probably going to be exceptions there, but we may also see some things rotate from primary back to secondary as well. So I think just this is meant to not overpromise or confuse anybody. It's really meant to be transparent when it's released currently, what has the most focus. And we see on there are huge items right now. There are huge items that we're trying to not distract from with lesser items or smaller items because they're so important. We've made some really big changes and some priorities, even like how many meetings certain people can even join until we get features along to a certain extent, because like expeditions is huge. New classes, we really want to be getting those out, but we want to make sure they're well done and everything in preparation for PvP. Those are just really big items. So the large list of secondary, I think those should be expected to be progressing, but likely on a lesser level than actually getting it across the finish line, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, really appreciate that. And a really good call out that this is not meant to be an exhaustive list. It does not mean that we won't be doing, literally anything else. There's always little stuff that we're doing, quality of life upgrades, that kind of thing, as well as just, sneaking some other stuff in there. Somebody mentioned duels in chat, which I saw Fox replied to, but I'll say it live. It's already in testing. It's close enough that we didn't feel like we needed to put it on here, just because it'll be out shortly anyway. But yeah, the goal is really just to improve that communication. And as things come out or as priorities shift, because priorities do shift, we have a clean and clear way to communicate that and keep everybody up to date. So let's see. Real quick, I'll just grab from chat. Ogre mentioned, is it safe to say that stuff in the secondary bucket are likely months away from an expectation standpoint? I mean, I would say as a general rule, I think that is probably the right way to look at it. Yes. Some of those could accelerate and come quicker, but as a general rule, I would say, yes, that is the correct way to interpret it.
I mean, there will be items in there that are months away, and there will be items in there that are not. There's a lot of stuff in there. So I think it's safe to say that especially as we knock out some of these bigger items, to be honest, Expeditions is so big, and that's such a main focus right now. When Expeditions is finished, likely other things the timeline from going secondary to primary will be faster. But I'd say right now, given all these things that the primary are so big, yeah, maybe some things could be multiple months away. But I would say for this list to get cleared out, you could almost think of it like, and we wanted to avoid this as well, being like a 2024 list, because some things might be faster or take way longer. So that's why we just kind of defaulted. All we know is what we're working on now in priority and what is progressing at a slower rate as secondary. So we just shifted the focus to be that rather than a time-based roadmap. So I think over time, as we get used to this, seeing how things progress will be the best way to answer that question. But I would caution against expecting a multi-month turnaround of one or all things in the secondary list, because it kind of depends on how the primary priorities go.
Yeah, and every feature is very unique, which makes things fun. Building on blockchain is fun. It adds interesting twists. All right. So we are going to jump into some questions. As I mentioned at the beginning, we do not have Hubert, Workhorse, or Beetle. So if there is a question that is really in their domain, we will not be trying to answer it because we're not the right people for it. But we will be holding those questions, so they will get answered. With that said, the first one is kind of a Hubert question, but we actually spoke on it a couple weeks ago, so I'm going to refer primarily to that. But durability on high rarity items, and our thoughts on how that will work for the most rare items, which I think when we talked about it last time, some of the amulets were used as an example because those are very high rarity. The short answer is we do want every item to have durability, but there will be repairs, there will be other systems in place around that as well. So in general, kind of a stay tuned for more details. As you've now seen, durability is in our secondary priority list, so there will be more information coming on that front. But yeah, I believe it was week before last that Hubert spoke on that. So if you want to go listen to his exact answer, obviously that is always an option as well. Let's see. Next one up is so we've talked about the additional hunts reward mechanic, which you've now also seen on that priority list. Will that involve any additional pixel art in order to make that happen? I tried to get SBD to join us today, but he said no. But he did give me the answer, which is that yes, there is artwork involved in that. But what artwork is involved, we can't say without giving away some other information. But yes, there will be artwork involved in that lift, which is already the artwork, I believe, is already started and ongoing. So that will be some information to stay tuned for as well. All right. I lost my place. I apologize. So there's a question from after listening to the Metagoons AMA, which, by the way, I guess also I forgot to mention, did an AMA with Metagoons last week. It was awesome. It was a great turnout. Huge shout out to everybody from our community that showed up. It's always super helpful when we show up in force to events like this. It helps show the community that we're talking to how strong our community is, which is a great selling point. If you missed that AMA and are interested in listening to it, it is live on our YouTube. Thank you, KP, for recording that and then uploading it for us. So you can always go catch that one as well. It was with me, and I felt like I did a good job, but y'all can let me know how you think I did. I'm going to regret inviting that. But from that, thought it was talking about DFK content. And having short form content and potentially doing like competitions, contests, which we used to do actually pretty often. I think it's a very good question and a very good point, and we have actually started some internal conversations around content, short form content, getting some different styles of content than what we've been doing currently, as well as promoting those. So I think it's safe to say that we will see some more stuff coming out soon. I think it's a little too early to go too far into detail on some plans there, but it's definitely feedback that we heard and are taking into account and looking for solutions for it. Okay. Wondering if the team can give a definitive answer on if we plan to bring back the green and blue hero skins in the future.
I don't know who's supposed to take this one. Shall I volunteer or?
I like it. You volunteer.
Okay. So yeah, when we did that was the game committee kind of like being very spontaneous. Hey, Halloween's coming up. What can we do? I think Second Best Data initially was like, what if we did this thing? and then not expecting us to do it, and then realizing, hey, we actually have a way we could do that. However, one part of that is we're very limited in like slots per trait. We can't just do an unlimited number of them. So we're very cautious not to like do that, a thing like that every couple of weeks or a month. It'll be far and few in between. However, there's a lot of options with what we could do. Even though the spots are limited, we can get creative in a lot of different ways. And luckily for us, Second Dad, Beetle, Workhorse, Magnus, and Hubert are all extremely creative. So what we want to avoid, since it's our first time doing that, we want to avoid at this time being like, it's never going to happen again, because I suppose it could. However, there's so many other things we could do. So if we're faced with an opportunity to do that again, and with less work and make it fun while focusing on other things, I could maybe see where we could. But I would say right now, the view expressed by those closest to the creativity of this stuff is that there's so many other things, other colors and other ways to make things fun. We're not in a rush to like return back to that. And it's not something that we're going to do every month or so, because we got other things to build. So I think if the answer is this a never again? Right now, I think we're not ready to say it's never again, but I think if we have more discussions internally on that, we could be more like definitive with that in future events, since it was kind of a test. We weren't sure how people would like it. In the past, before this, we did like dark summoning raffles, which is cool and everything, but this was like a really fun, creative way to incentivize behavior while also celebrating the holiday at that time. So if you liked that event, I would expect other events similar to it over time. And we're going to be kind of regrouping internally. If we can say, like, if we really want to close the door and be like, never again, which kind of limits us, right? We don't want to say never again and then change it. We'd rather say it's very unlikely, but it could. But we understand that to many people holding some of these like limited items, they want to know, hey, is it a never again? Because I imagine some might perceive value to be different if they know that we will never like allow ways for that to be released. But just keep in mind, any heroes out there with these, what did we call it? Plague touched and void touched color modifications. If they have summons available still, they could still make more. So it's not like the amount out there now is limited, but I guess the max potential amount, you could argue, is limited. And we have no intention to mess with that now. And we can circle back with a, yeah, okay, we'll never do it again answer or not. The thing is, there could be some really fun lore tied into these things. I even saw like a live question about lore. Lore is going to become very important when we have a stronger game loop, and a good competitive nature. I don't think we're there at this point with the limited resources, mainly going towards the productive building of gameplay and competitive gameplay. But some of this might be tied there as well. So if we do come back with we're never doing that again, we want to make sure for future players and the future playing experience, there's no cost to that. So somebody might say that's a non-answer. I apologize if it feels like that, but I would say I would be very surprised if that same thing came back even within a year or more, since there's so many other things we can do.
For sure. Greatly appreciate it, sir. There's a question about Discord recently announced that they would start doing ads, in-platform ads on like Discord itself. This was actually the first I had heard of it. I had not caught that news yet, but it's definitely something that we're going to look into. It's something that I, personally am very interested to learn more on and find out what the deal is there, and definitely, check it out and see if it makes sense to do. I think it's a very interesting proposition. Discord historically has been an ad-free platform, so it'll be interesting to see that change and see how it develops. Let's see. There's a question about if a baby boar dying to bleed would trigger rampage. The answer to that is yes. If the boar dies and mama boar is able to do rampage, she's gonna rampage.
Can confirm.
That sounds like personal experience there, Sunbear.
Just a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's part of the bleed mechanic, and really any damage over time mechanic is playing around triggers like that, death triggers and anything else, or damage triggers even, because ultimately you are causing damage. All right, so with the exception of those questions that are specific for the Huberts and Beetles of the world, we have actually caught up on our questions at the moment. ST808101. I do see your question. I have that logged for Hubert because I don't know the answer, and I don't think anybody up here does at the moment. But we will find out from Hubert/Workhorse next time they are here. We do have a guest that's going to join who's doing something fun. But prior to that, I wanted to give a minute. If anybody has questions that they want to throw in chat, if it's off the wall, I'm still alpha police in here. But if you have any questions that you want to throw into chat, please do feel free, and we will snag them real quick. Dark summoning for pets. We have actually talked about this as far as like dark summoning itself goes. Probably not, because it just wouldn't work in the like dark summoning system. But we have been talking about pets and other ways that we could look at some different utility options for them. And there, we did make the adjustment to the egg drop rates last week. And we do have some more thoughts on pets as well that will be coming a little later. So stay tuned for that as well. All right. Anybody else have a question they want to throw out real quick? Otherwise, I will bring up our guest. Has DeFi Kingdoms considered rebranding to Badass Kingdoms? I don't think we've had that conversation.
Back. You could just call it back.
Ooh, I do like back. Back would be pretty.
Baby got back.
Yellow eggs are still on the roadmap, but they are not currently on the priority list at the moment. Yellow eggs, and especially like lands as well, those are massively intense art resources that right now we need dedicated to other things like combat, especially combat. So they are definitely on the roadmap. They are not by any means forgotten, but they are not an immediate priority.
Well, and one thing I think we forgot to mention, and again, to everyone, this is not financial advice, just information that's out there. With the Genesis pools for Hercules, these are initial pools that just run for the first 4 months to kind of create that initial, TVL liquidity, that have higher incentives, all that kind of stuff. They only allow people to actually deposit in these initial pools for the first week. And but there will be more opportunities after that with Jewel and everything like that. So this is just kind of initial launch pool option. So if you are interested in that, I definitely recommend coming back to Twitter Space, and listening to the AMA with them today at 4 Eastern to learn more about that. But I think that opportunity does end on the 7th, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, you're right on that, Sunbear. So you have until the 7th to get into the Genesis pools. And also, too, Sergeant Filthy McNasty scheduled a Biz Dev AMA tomorrow evening. So it's going to be on, I believe, at 8:30 p.m. Pacific, 11:30 Eastern. He's got at least one of the Biz Dev, if not a couple of the guys from Hercules to come on. I'm going to be on with him. So if you'd like to hear a little bit more about Hercules' long-term roadmap and, what their probably rosy picture is, because they're business development guys, and they'll probably be able to give you more information on what their vision is and what they're looking to do here. And probably, you can make some decisions based on what their roadmap is. I know that Bolon will probably get into some of the nuts and bolts this afternoon on the X Spaces with the Hercules team as well. We're trying to give you guys as many resources as you can to research this, make sure it's the right decision for you. But I think that the Genesis pools are a great option, but also to remember that you don't have to get into them if you don't want to, and you can withdraw your LP to whenever you want to as well. So as long as you're making an informed decision for you, it should be good. But we want to give you those resources and those availability to be able to listen and learn and be able to hopefully take advantage of these opportunities that are here. With that being said, I'll shoot it back to you, Bolon.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Let's see. Dippy Doo. I don't know of an issue trying to buy heroes, so please reach out to me on Discord and we'll get you sorted out, because I'm not sure what would be going on there, but we will get it solved for you for sure. Just shoot me a Discord message or tag me in a channel wherever you want, and we'll get you sorted out. Awesome. We are going to bring up our special guest for the week. Oh, sorry. Is there a link for Hercules on Discord? It is in their Twitter, which there is a link to their Twitter in our Discord. And then if you go to their Discord bio, they have all their official links. But with that, we are going to bring up our special guest for the week. You all probably recognize Too Honest. Too Honest, who is one of our community streamers and a Mythic Squad member. And I believe, Too Honest, you are putting together a little event for this weekend.
Yes. What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing?
Good,
Really
man.
well.
Good to have you.
All right. Yes. Me and my team, Skiller and Be Easy, shout out to those guys for helping me put this together and giving me all the great ideas to make this beautiful event take place. But it's called the Best Hunter Summoning Event. It'll take place in the Mythic Squad Discord, Mythic Mayhem. Everybody's welcome to come hang out. You don't have to participate to come hang out, so feel free to come hang out. You can see some cool summons. Basically, we're going to be creating PvE hunt heroes, right? Through dark summoning and giving away a lot of prizes. I think we're up to like 14 or 15 prizes, something like that. So feel free. Shout out to everybody that did donate those prizes to the event. I love you guys. Thank y'all. This community's unstoppable. It'll be Saturday, 8 p.m. Pacific time. I wanted to do a little late night to keep the dark summoning vibes. So I hope everybody can make that time. Hit me up on Discord or on Twitter. I posted the rules on my Twitter. I'll probably post it in the DeFi Kingdoms general chat too, just so people can kind of see it over there too. But yeah, love to see all y'all there.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be fun. And please do let us know. We'll make sure everybody can find it in the DFK Discord as well. But it should be a really fun event, and I'm excited for it. Granted, I have terrible luck anytime I dark summon on stream, as proven by Mythic Squad last week. Actually, that was a regular summon, but I might have to pit a couple heroes and see what comes out.
Yeah, you never know. That bad luck might win you something. You never know.
That is true.
Well, Bolon, I'm pretty sure you had a mythic happen this week, right?
Yeah, well, that wasn't on their stream, but it was while watching their stream. Are we giving?
I know. I'm just saying your luck's so bad. We have to celebrate these occasions. So
I mean, that is true. That was the second mythic that I have ever summoned, so I was pretty happy about it. I'm gonna burn it, but I'm gonna use its summons first, and then I'll pit it. But. Yeah. Oh God, Bio, why would you bring up the Metagoon summon? That was bad. That was so bad. We're doing the AMA and they're in chat and they're like, do a summon for him. I'm like, okay, worst possible result. I summoned with 2 mythics and got a common and no mutations, nothing, just nothing.
Hey, it happened to the best of us.
It does. Real quick, circling back, I did find out that there was a bug that was causing white screen in the tavern. It has been fixed on both the app and game sites. Beta will be fixed momentarily, but please do a hard refresh and it should be resolved. If it is not, please let us know in Discord. But we should be good on that front. And then, to honest, super excited for this event. Anything you want to say? Anything you want to ask? Or if you wanted to, you can do the bullish for the week.
Well, I just want to make sure I give a shout out to Mythic Squad. Love y'all guys. You know, keep grinding. And DeFi Kingdoms, you guys are doing amazing work. Keep grinding. We all see you out here with them partnerships, with all the add-ons, all the stuff you're doing in the game. So great work to you guys. And yeah, everybody, bullish.
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 Thanks,
We'll
guys.
see you all
Thanks,
next
guys.
week.
DeFi Kingdoms, where you can summon heroes, trade with other players, quest, and fight challenging enemies in a fantasy world brought to life in pixel art animation. Command your legion, claim your legacy.